What's up, boys? It's currently 8 p.m. Still wanted to make this video, although I usually record my videos in the morning after I get some work done and I'm already in the zone, but here we go, no excuses. So I wanted to talk about the whole concept of rewiring your brain and the way dopamine influences you. I'm not gonna tell you stuff that you've already heard 100 times on the internet about, do a dopamine detox and you'll be fine, and dopamine detox changed my life. If I wanted views, I would do that. The couple of people who are watching me know why I'm making these videos is to actually give detailed personal advice rather than this 6 tips to be more productive, which barely even applies to you. So I've never officially done a dopamine detox. Does that mean it doesn't work? No, it does work. But most people think just because they did a dopamine detox that they're going to start enjoying work all of a sudden and they're going to reset their receptors and everything they do is going to make sense and fun. No, not really. If you want to enjoy the work that you're doing, it has nothing to do with, it does have something to do with dopamine detox as well. But doing the dopamine detox alone is not going to do anything for you. In fact, 1.5 years ago, when I was waking up early, that's when I started my self-improvement channel. I fell off in between, but when I first started being productive, I did a whole dopamine detox challenge-y thing where I was like, let me not listen to music because that's bad for you. Let me not do this because that's bad for you. And I had no real purpose and behind the work that I was doing, which is the reason I didn't enjoy it at all. You need a reason, you need a purpose that's willing to push you forward, because you can't be an outcome-based person. You have to be a process-based person in something that takes maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years to make it. If you're building a business, if you're having a physique, if you're building a physique, or you're learning a new high-income skill that's going to take some time, obviously being an outcome-based person is going to be very demotivating and depressing for you, because you don't see the outcome unless if you spend genuine weeks on it. So here's the thing. A dopamine detox, the way it helps me, the way it helps every productive person, and even those people, those self-improvement YouTubers who tell you to do it, who don't articulate with you properly, is they help with the overstimulation. When your brain is filled, literally, have you guys ever gone to sleep? You probably have. If you're present enough already, if you're present enough to understand and relate, if you've gone to sleep and you've been kind of scrolling for a couple hours that day, and the moment you go to sleep, you get different things popping up in your mind, and your brain's still active, and you notice that. Have you ever had that? Imagine being in that overstimulated state and trying to focus on work that isn't fun anyway. Don't expect work to be fun. The fun I derive from work is through the fulfillment that it gives me. It's not because I particularly like sitting in front of my laptop for a couple hours and watching some guy explain to me machine learning models, because that's what I'm working on right now. It's not fun, and don't expect it to be. Look, I made a video called "The Easier You Expect It to Be, the harder you're making it for yourself," something similar along those lines. And don't expect this dopamine detox to change your life like all these self-improvement people are telling you. It will change your life, yes, but that alone isn't going to. It's like having a keyboard to a PC, but you don't have the mouse, so you can't orient yourself well enough. And here's the thing, the dopamine detox, like I told you, is going to make the work that you're doing seem less overstimulating. It's going to seem less boring, okay? Because your brain's not going to be used to some overstimulation that makes you extremely happy and in an unhealthy way dopaminergic. and then experience the shitty work that you're doing and feel worse. No, you won't have this big contrast. My girl's calling. You won't have this big contrast, but that doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it. That doesn't mean you can sit down for 6-7 hours and enjoy the work. What you need for it is purpose. And this whole big, most people watching are going to be like, well, I have purpose. I want to get rich. I want to, buy a new motorbike. Like I want to, for example. But that's not purpose. That's not the thing that gets you up at 4 a.m. and allows you to take a cold shower while you're genuinely hating every single moment of it. Just because you want the motorbike. No, because the excuses you're going to have pulling you away from the motorbike compared to the reason you have to get the motorbike is much stronger. It's like the reasons for doing it that are saying to me, Demir, which is my name, you have to do this, it's good for you, and it's kind of pulling me. But the fact that it feels so terrible, and humans are best at lying to themselves and making excuses. Those little excuses that are so perfected to the tiniest bit that pulls me perfectly, just gets the right magnetic field. I don't have a chance against that unless if my purpose is a must. For example, my family has debt, let's say. That's a big enough reason because that's threatening. If you want to do this, if you want to learn, if you want to spend several months and your reason is because, well, I want to learn, I want to read a new book, I want to be good, that's not fucking enough, because the hardship that you have to go through to obtain this small or not so necessary in your mind reward is not worth it. That's why so many people, that's why I in the past so many times fell and faltered when I had to wake up early. And then I hated myself the next morning. No big surprise. That kind of pisses me off. I can't teach you everything. Look, I can't teach you everything, but I will try. You have to look within yourself. If you don't know what truly motivates you, what truly makes you think, I know it's going to be damn hard, I know I'm going to suffer every day, and I know it's not going to end, but I'm willing to do it. If you don't know that one thing that is willing to push you like that every day, where you're like, damn, I'm willing to suffer every single day for the rest of my life for that, that's not your purpose. I'm sorry, but I know it's annoying. I know you're thinking to yourself, well, how does he know? I want to retire my parents. Yes, you want to retire your parents. We all do, brother. But it's not that simple. In that moment, when your brain is not functioning, you're trying to open your eyes, and the thought of the cold water hitting your skin while you're already freezing hits you. That motivation you have, that jumping around like, yes, I want to get it, is not there at all. What are you going to do? Crawl back to bed and feel shitty about yourself? Then try to motivate yourself for the next morning? Motivation works for sure, but most people misuse it, and most people use it in areas where it's not necessary. That's a topic for another video, I understand. But to find your purpose, to find what truly pushes you, you have to self-reflect. And if you're taking a dopamine detox because you want to be able to enjoy the work, and you hate what you're doing, and you're like, damn, I find this so boring. There's nothing about it that makes me feel good at all. Maybe a little bit if I'm fulfilled, but then you're simply not working towards something that in your mind, in your subconscious, is worth it. The joy that I get from work that is seemingly disgusting, that is seemingly terrible to think about, even for some people, because they know everybody has a different purpose, right? Not everybody's gonna have the same thing, and a goal such as retiring your parents isn't the same thing as a purpose. Okay, so a goal like that can be motivating, can be pushing, depending on how big or small it is, but it's not sustainable. The work that I do, I have two focuses right now. I'm trying to master machine learning in Python, which is like coding for those of you who don't know. Second is growing on YouTube while sharing my lessons with you guys and building a community of men who push themselves. Sounds maybe cliche for those, I don't know, but yeah. And I can only do that when I feel the dopamine from the work enough to push me. Most people get the wrong idea. They think most people would think, I don't need dopamine. I don't need to feel good when I do this. I don't need to do this. You're gonna end up being drained like a zombie and have zero willpower. All those self-improvement YouTubers that miscommunicate with you guys because they're not present enough in their minds to communicate well enough the problem. They don't tell this to you, but they do enjoy the work, and I do too. You know, when I told you, most people who try to teach you self-improvement say the things I say or said in this video already, such as, it's terrible, you have to be this, you have to feel terrible, but they don't tell you the fact that actually it is fun. The fun part is in the fulfillment. If you don't feel fulfilled at all, then there is a problem in how much you want it, why you're doing it. Probably between these two mostly. The way I feel fulfilled, brother, is the fact that I know I am not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my life doing nothing. You know, when I wake up and I haven't woken up early, my alarm, I just somehow slept through it. That pain, it genuinely hurts, you know. Some of you probably can relate to this. This pain that hurts you, this pain that makes you genuinely hate yourself and kind of ruins your day as well. Don't cope with it. Don't lie to yourself by saying, oh, it's fine, I'll do it tomorrow, and make yourself feel better. Because the fact that you're coping for so long is the reason you can't get over it. I use that pain. I use the thought of that brain. When I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm like, damn, I don't want to do this, because no motivation, no purpose. There is no point, purpose, or motivation at 4 a.m. most of the time. Maybe 1 out of 4 or 5 times that I wake up, I might be like, let's get after it. But the rest is kind of harder and takes more of a man to get through, let's call it that. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, when I wake up at 4 a.m. and it feels terrible, I remind myself and go, in 5-6 hours, I can either look back on the situation and feel happy and joyful. Because so many of you want to feel this joyful emotion, right? This is where it comes from. I'm either going to feel joyful or I'm going to feel like a piece of shit. I'm not going to cope. I'm not going to go, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. These emotionless people who don't feel bad, who don't feel happy. That's why nothing changes. Nothing changes because you don't have the urge. You don't have the need to change. It would be good if I changed. It would be good if I got disciplined. This is not how it works, brother. You have to give it your all. And you have to be honest enough to yourself. And the reason I can wake up early, the reason I can do these things is because I am honest. If I mess up, I tell myself, I'm a dumbass. And it makes me feel terrible. It does. My frequency is off. When I don't record or whatever, that's sometimes or mostly because that day, maybe I missed something. Maybe I don't feel as fulfilled. Maybe my frequency is not there. So be honest to yourself and use that pain that you feel when you are lazy. Remember that pain. Don't cope and tell yourself, I'm going to feel so damn bad if I don't log in right now. I'm going to feel terrible tomorrow. That's what has to guide you. Instead of thinking, I'll feel good, that's nice, I'm feeling happy, because that's not lasting ever. Don't search for happiness through, I'm enjoying this. Instead, get chastened by, run away from something. Humans or what was it? It's proven that when you're being chased by something and you feel danger, you run faster than if you had a carrot in front of you, chasing something. All right, this was an experiment made by rats. They had, I believe the rats were within a cage, and they held the rats by their tails. Yeah, I remember, and they had cheese in front of them, and the rats would push, and so you would measure the force that they push at. And in a second experiment, where they changed the variables and they added a cat behind the smell of the cat behind the rats, they pushed way harder with no cheese in front of them. So if you apply that analogy to your life, it would mean that find some type of threat, danger, fear that is chasing you from the back, that pushes you forward, rather than thinking it would be nice if I got it, because that's not enough. In order to rewire your brain and find joy and dopamine from that, you have to push through like that. It was a long video, guys. I think that's it. Really wanted to get this message across before I slept today. It feels good to make those videos. Half the time I don't want to start. I know it feels cool to sit in front of the camera and smile and be nice, but truth is, it usually doesn't. It feels fulfilling for sure, but not nice. Don't search happiness in the form that you expect it to be. You'll never, those times when you felt happy when you were playing a video game, you will never feel that happiness again. Okay, and don't expect yourself to feel as good. And that is where the dopamine detox does come in. So you kind of, because you will never, this happiness that you find here at the top, you will never see here at the bottom. So that's what the dopamine detox kind of helps regulate out. Don't expect the dopamine detox to be the help of, the answer to all your problems, like these people lie to you about. Okay, boys? Stay consistent, stay disciplined. You guys can message me on Instagram if you need anything. Any questions or whatever. Take care, boys.